As many of you know, there has been a recent public domain expansion. The animated short film Steamboat Willie was created in 1928 by Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks, so as of January 2024, it has been over 95 years since its release. 95 years is the threshold for how old copyrighted material needs to be to enter public domain. In other words, the versions of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse featured in Steamboat Willie are now free from copyright. There is, however, another character that is also in public domain, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Oswald was a character also created by Disney and Iwerks in 1927, however the character was then owned by Universal Pictures, leading to the eventual creation of the mouse himself. It had actually slipped my mind that this moment in copyright and public domain would come to pass, but once I was reminded of it on social media, my brain immediately started turning gears, conceptualizing illustrations featuring these characters. I have a strange fixation of dressing characters with bomber jackets. I don't know, they just look cool to me. And the overwhelming fear of God prevents me from drawing faces of living things, so I just turned Mickey and gang into robots. This alteration is in my favor though, for changing the visual design of these characters should lower the risk of infringing upon other more recent iterations of these characters. After developing some thumbnail sketches and utilizing the court of public opinion, I landed on this composition of MKY1, that's the robot name I'm going with, sitting on a throne. MKY1 is donning the hat Mickey wears in Steamboat Willie, a G1 bomber jacket, pants, and essentially some Timbs. Why? Because it just looks cool to me. MNE1 on the right is wearing a diamond tiara and fur scarf with a sparkly dress, and even has custom arms painted in a fashion similar to opera gloves. OZW1 on the left is also wearing a bomber jacket. However, instead of a G1 model, the robot is donning one more akin to an MA1 bomber. As you might have noticed earlier in the time-lapse, I initially was going to go with red cushionings for the throne MKY1 sits on. However, I decided against it as the color felt too aggressive to me. The blue looked a lot better, to me personally, and in hindsight is more representative of the Disney branding, as they tend to utilize blue quite often. Astute viewers might also notice the cracked windows in the background. This is my subtle hint at the potentially dystopian future these robots reside in. As I was working on this, I actually entertained the idea of furthering the development of these robot iterations and making more illustrations featuring them. Perhaps if there's general interest, I may follow up on that idea. More news at 10. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the final result of my illustration. Overall, I liked how it turned out, and I hope you do as well. Let me know if you would like to see more illustrations of my version of Mickey and Friends, or maybe even some other characters that are now in the public domain. Speaking of the public domain, do you know what one advantage of having an illustration with public domain characters? Prints! That's right, you can actually get this print available now on my store. Be sure to visit azizdraws.com/prints, or scan the QR code on the screen, or go to the link in the description. Choice is yours.